Hey everyone, today we're going to talk about one of the hottest and maybe most sensitive topics of dropshipping, your starting budget. I'm going to give you an exact breakdown of the cost it takes to start a dropshipping business and show you different budgets for different types of dropshipping business strategies. As always, if you have any questions throughout the video, leave them in the comments and our team or I will get to them right away. I'm also happy to announce that we're starting a lucky draw this month, where you'll have a chance to win a 1-year free membership to SaleHoo Directory or SaleHoo Dropship. All you have to do is comment below and tell us what is the biggest issue you're currently trying to solve in your dropshipping journey. At the end of the month, we'll choose 2 lucky winners and announce them in our latest YouTube video. These are the exact same budgets used by 7-figure dropshippers and those who have built a dropshipping business from scratch and built it into their full-time job when they all first started out. How do we know? Well, here at SaleHoo, we are dropshippers and business owners ourselves. And using our knowledge and experience, we have helped hundreds of thousands of entrepreneurs grow their online businesses with our e-commerce tools and our expert online education. One of the most common questions we hear from aspiring dropshippers is, how much does it cost to get started? And you may have heard this answer a lot. It depends, which is entirely true since it depends on your dropship business strategy and the way that you want to dropship. So what we did for you is divide the ways that you can dropship into 3 routes or routes, depending on where you're from: the slow, steady, and fast route. We will give you a breakdown of each one line item by line item, and based on what route you choose to take and what your unique needs are, you will be able to gauge how much you need to start and run a dropshipping business by the end of this video. Let's go through the fixed costs first. The costs that typically don't change are recurring and you'll have to pay regardless of how much volume you sell. The first is your website. It is going to be $29 a month if you go with Shopify, which is the platform of choice for majority of dropshippers. We recommend the $29 plan to start since you don't really need the firepower of the more expensive plans in the beginning. Creating your store website is almost non-negotiable, regardless of whether you are taking the slow, steady, or fast route, because you will need a website for customers to visit to buy your products. So let's put $29 per month on our spreadsheet for all the routes. Some merchants do dropship on marketplaces like Amazon and eBay, but since majority of dropshippers use a website and open their own online store so they can do more marketing and branding, we'll be talking about the costs of a website. The next thing you need to buy is your domain. We recommend Namecheap to buy your domain, which you then can connect with your Shopify store, and it will only cost you $8.98 for the first year and then $13.98 for every succeeding year. So let's just put $8.98 on our spreadsheet for all routes as the cost of the domain. Other domain providers charge above $10 for the first year, and for that reason, we recommend Namecheap. Also, based on personal experience, you may make mistakes with the domains you initially buy, like you end up not liking the name itself, or you'll find that some of the stores you launch don't even last a year. So it just makes sense to buy from a domain provider that offers one of the cheapest, if not the cheapest domains. Also, to save you cost, make sure not to buy the SSL certificate along with your domain. You really just need the domain, because all the Shopify stores have a free SSL certificate. The SSL certificate is just what keeps your site secure. We don't need to delve into this since you're in good hands with Shopify. The next fixed cost you would have to account for is a tool to find suppliers. Now, you could do all this by yourself and Google for all of them and vet them yourself by testing communication with the suppliers and ordering samples one by one, which would be very time consuming and considered the slow route. Or you can go speed up everything by finding all your potential suppliers in one place. If you want to find suppliers and test them yourself, you might want to skip this next section, as I will talk about what tools from SaleHoo you can use to automate finding suppliers and products to dropship. You can either go with the SaleHoo Dropship, SaleHoo Directory, or both to find suppliers of the products that you are keen on selling. If you go with SaleHoo Dropship, which is $27 monthly or $270 yearly, you will be able to find pre-vetted AliExpress suppliers. Yes, that's right, suppliers that the SaleHoo team has personally tested based on communication, speed, and product quality. You will also be able to automatically integrate their product to your store and use advanced search filters and view estimated shipping times, shipping methods, number of orders the supplier has made, etc. to find the supplier and products that you want to sell. Additionally, those who subscribe to SaleHoo Dropship will get free access to the exclusive Facebook SaleHoo Dropship community, where you can interact with people on the same journey as you, and you can even interact with our team. You can also go with the SaleHoo directory, which is $67 annually or $127 as a one-time payment. The SaleHoo directory is good if you want to use local or non-Chinese suppliers with fast shipping, but the price may not be as dirt cheap as AliExpress suppliers though, so that's something to consider. You can find dropshipping suppliers from all parts of the world: USA, Canada, Australia, UK, Europe, South America, you name it, and you can find them all there. The SaleHoo directory is also great if you want to grow out of using dropshipping suppliers and want to work with wholesalers and manufacturers too, as your business grows. If you have no budget for both, we recommend that you choose either SaleHoo Dropship or SaleHoo Directory based on your priorities, like whether you want to use AliExpress suppliers or your country's local suppliers. If you want low cost per product, go with SaleHoo Dropship. If you want fast shipping times and you're okay with potentially a little higher cost per product, go with SaleHoo Directory. For our calculation, let's just say you are going with SaleHoo Dropship at $27 a month, and we'll apply that to the steady and fast route. For the fast route, we'll include the $127 lifetime plan of the SaleHoo directory too, because we can afford both. For the slow route, we're going to assume you will go through the trouble of doing your own supplier research, which is free, but can take forever. Next up, we have your variable costs. These costs vary depending on how much you produce, and since you are using the dropshipping model, you will not have to initially worry about most costs that product-based businesses face, like product development costs, packaging costs, etc. The first variable cost for dropshipping is your samples. These may cost you between $5 to $50 typically, since dropshippers normally sell products below $100 and have a minimum 50% gross profit margin. Let's just input $30 as the cost for this one, for easy calculation for all routes. Also, the more variation of the product you want a sample of, the more samples you will have to buy. We always recommend buying a sample from your supplier and not taking shortcuts with this, because it's important that you see for yourself what your customer is receiving, and you can use that sample for your marketing efforts and develop your marketing creatives in infinite ways rather than relying on your supplier's material. In other words, you can use that sample to create videos, photos, and other interesting content to capture your audience's attention. The next variable cost is your marketing costs, which typically is the biggest cost of dropshipping. These vary greatly as it depends on a ton of things like your marketing strategy, which ad platform you will use, and are you doing free organic marketing or paid advertising or influencer marketing, etc. We'll go through all of them, and by the way, we recommend you focus on one or two methods at first. Don't spread your attention out too thin. If you want to take your marketing slowly and you don't have a lot of money to start with, you can go with organic marketing, which basically means that you don't have to pay a single cent to promote your products. So the cost for this is $0, assuming you aren't paying anyone to help you out with this. And note that this can take a long time to do, so we'll categorize this in the slow route. I'll just give you some quick examples of organic marketing. First is making use of free social media traffic, like if you make TikTok, YouTube videos, etc. You can get your brand in front of people for free. I've heard others rely on word of mouth, friends and family, Facebook groups, and marketplaces. Some use Reddit, I've heard, and the downside of this though is that it takes a long time to get in front of a lot of people, but the upside is that you can potentially have much closer connection to your customers doing this. By default, organic marketing would fall under the slow route, but you may do it simultaneously with other strategies for the steady and fast route. The other marketing strategies are paid, like influencer marketing and paid media or ads. Let me just start off by saying that yes, the typical advice is to have $1,000 saved up to do all of these. But again, it depends on your strategy. For the sake of calculation, I'll make $1,000 the amount for all of these strategies under the fast route. When you have $1,000 to start with, it becomes less stressful because you're working with a much larger amount. For the steady route, let's make it $500. And the slow route, let's just say we're saving up so we won't be using paid methods for the slow route. Again, just choose one or two of any of these and take the time to learn them. Also, take note that putting in more money on marketing just means you are accelerating everything. So feel free to play with the marketing budget according to your needs. Am I saying you have to spend $1,000 or $500 to be successful in any of these paid marketing strategies? No, For influencer marketing, for example, we did an interview with Lauren Mitchell, a 7-figure dropshipper, and she started with less than $500 when doing influencer marketing. And she even shared her recommendations as to how to approach influencer marketing with a small budget. For Facebook ads, we interviewed Chris Wayne, who also started with less than $500 and saw success with Facebook ads. On the other hand, Jeffrey Ho, a 6-figure fashion store dropshipper, shared that $1,000 would be a good amount to start with, and he did Facebook ads just like Chris Wayne. Apart from Facebook and influencers, you can go for TikTok, Google, Pinterest, etc. And this will all depend on your preferences and where your audience is hanging out. The takeaway here is that the smaller your budget, the slower it will be to see results. And this is where I talk about having some buffer, which is needed in the event something goes wrong or you need to make adjustments, especially in the areas of marketing and fulfillment. A good $100 will do for the slow route, and $300 will be okay for steady route, since you aren't going super aggressive in terms of marketing, so orders will come in much slower, which you don't need a ton of reserve for. For the fast route, a good $500 plus would do, because you will need a little more for marketing iterations and fulfillment, which I will explain in a bit. Now, for the fast route, just because I said that I recommend you start off with at least $1,000 for paid advertising, doesn't mean that after spending $1,000, you'll definitely see success. Some of you may spend less than that, some of you may spend more than that, depending on, well, a lot of factors. But one of the largest factors is iterations to your strategy, which is why you need a buffer. You need to account for these iterations. In other words, if you discover that there is something wrong with your campaign or needs to be improved, you can make fixes to the areas you've identified. You will be able to make these fixes or iterations on the campaign level, which you primarily set your objective. Then you have the ad group audience level, where you mainly set who you want to target. And then you have the ad level, which is basically what your audience is seeing, the actual advertisement with call to action buttons and all. And finally, you have the landing page level, which for dropshippers is normally the product page. This is pretty much the same for all ad platforms: Google, Pinterest, TikTok, Facebook, etc. You need to account for these iterations. Another reason why you need buffer is because your payment processor like PayPal can potentially hold the money sent by your customer. You might have thought that you can just use the money that your customer paid you to buy the product. But in the event that your payment processor holds that money, you can't do that anymore. And let's say you didn't have a buffer to pay the supplier to fulfill those orders while you solve that issue with your payment processor. You'll end up getting a lot of refunds from angry customers that did not receive their orders. This also relates to positive cash flow. Basically, you are going to want to have enough cash coming in and on time to run the business smoothly. The last thing I want to go through are things that are good to have, but not absolutely necessary. The first thing that is good to have is to take some sort of structured course for dropshipping. This will speed up the whole learning process. There are many courses out there, but SaleHoo's is, I'd say, much more well-rounded and focuses on catering to beginner to intermediate dropshippers. So if you're looking for a beginner to intermediate friendly course, maybe you haven't started dropshipping, or you already have, but you're kind of still figuring your way around, I would recommend that you check out SaleHoo Educate, which is taught by our very own e-commerce experts who have built multiple 6-figure dropshipping businesses, and they also make it extremely simple to digest and understand. This will only cost you $47, and let's put that under the fast route only. Another thing that's good to have is Canva. It's free and you can use it for your marketing material and creatives like your videos, product images, etc. The other alternatives would be Adobe Premiere for videos or Adobe Photoshop for images. But both are paid and you honestly do not need that firepower so early in your business. So we'd recommend going with Canva. This will cost you nothing and you can use it for all routes. The next thing we recommend is apps for your store. We recommend Vitals simply because it's only $29.99 a month and it has 40 plus essential apps in one. I'll put this under the fast route only because you don't have to buy this, and there are free apps you can download as an alternative to this, but they are limiting. I've personally used Vitals, which is why I recommend it, because before I'd have to download so many apps like a review app, abandoned cart app, currency converter, increased conversions apps, and a lot more. And Vitals was just a one-stop solution, so I went for it. If you're on a tighter budget though, and you are going for the slow or steady route, you maybe want to just buy each app one by one. But just take note that you'd have to pay for them individually to use their advanced features, and your cost will certainly exceed $29.99 a month if you go with the paid plan for every app that is available in Vitals. Now, the free apps that I recommend you go with for the slow or steady route are product review apps, so you can build trust in your store, the multi-currency converter apps by Booster Apps, so you can localize the prices for your customers, and the Booster Product Bundles app by Booster Apps, so you can increase average order value. The Trust Badges app by Booster Apps, so you can make your site more trustworthy. These are all free, and we'll put them in the slow and steady route because they do take time to set up and you will experience limitations with these. But it totally works for starters. So after we add all of the costs that I filled up in the spreadsheet, we can see that with the slow route, maybe you are hustling like crazy with a tight budget. Yeah, you can work with maybe $160 startup capital, around there. But if you want to go a bit faster but still have a fairly tight budget, you can go with the steady route with around $800, $900 startup capital. And if you just want to go as fast as possible, you can go with the fast route at $1,700, $1,800 startup capital. Anyway, that's the end of this video. If you like this type of content, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe as it helps our channel grow and incentivizes us to keep making this type of content for you. Also, if you want to learn from the successful dropshippers I mentioned in this video, you can check out this playlist right over here, or somewhere in the screen. Or if you are a beginner still wrapping your head around dropshipping, we have a full guide right over here, or somewhere in my screen, to brief you on the whole process of dropshipping. Thanks everyone, see you in the next video.